Okay, all right. Abhinav, start reading.
Wait, sir.
Hmm.
Is Rajmohan a total villain in the novel discussed? Rajmohan does not seem to have any redeeming quality that mitigates his position as an antagonist. The novel is not long enough for Chatterjee to develop a character to its full length, portrait where we can understand conflicting aspects for a single character. Though Rajmohan does have one quality which, if not redeeming, is something that stands out from his otherwise hateful character. Rajmohan displays courage when Sardar and his aide attacked him. He tries to fight them off and keeps on arguing and convinces them it was not him who betrayed them. Either he is too much of a fool to be called a determined person, hell bent on avenging himself upon Madhav. Rajmohan thinks that Madhav has insulted him by providing him with a job. His ego is hurt when he understood that Madhav has done it as a favor to him due to Matangini. Perhaps he understood that Matangini had a soft corner for Madhav from the very beginning, since he confesses to the dacoit leader that though Madhav has done him a good turn, he has done him harm too. In chapter 10, Rajmohan confronts Matangini and expresses his doubt. Deceive me not, I have a worse दोषिश दो
दाऊ
दाव
डिडेस्ट होगा ये.
thou didst
दाऊ
become
दाऊ अलग वर्ड और दाऊ बिकेम फॉन्ड ऑफ दैट. दाऊ हैडेस्ट ऐसा होगा. THOU दाऊ स्पेस HADSST. दाऊ हैडेस्ट.
thou hadst become fond of the first breach. This sexual jealousy could also be responsible for Rajmohan's decision to keep Matangini confined to the house so that she cannot have access to Madhav. If he did understand this, one has to say that Rajmohan, in spite of everything, seems to be an observant person. This again could be the result of his being naturally jealous and paranoid. Even if he is a observant and has deep insights into human psychology, he is still a scoundrel, no doubt. He exemplifies all the negative traits of common patriarch.
Okay, wait. So Rajmohan, the question is whether Rajmohan is a total villain or the villain in the novel or not. Now, before I forget, let me talk to you about a few things that you should do in your answer and certain things that you should not do in your answer. I think I have been telling this to you in the classroom also, in the offline classes also. First of all, mark your answers properly. Like if in the question paper you have two sections or three sections, mark the sections on the top of the answer, then mark the question. Like if it is question 1, 1C, then write question 1C. If possible, it always helps the examiner. If possible, if you have time, write the question also. If it is not too long, it always helps the examiner. I am an examiner and I know that it helps us to identify the question. It will it, it will it might not fetch you marks directly, but it will create a good impression of you on the examiner, and he might go lenient on you. So mark your answers very properly and take notes of these, write these things down, because many times I have seen that this basic thing is not followed by the students. They don't, many of them have forgotten to mark, they have marked wrong. So some examiner might not even give you marks for that if you are not marking it correctly. So first, mark correctly, write the name of the section, then the question number, if possible write the question also. Then when you have written an answer, a broad answer usually, because you are having 15 marks, 4 15 marks questions. So when a broad answer ends, leave an amount of space. If it has ended in the middle of the page, leave the entire page, start your answer on the next page. Otherwise, it becomes very confusing for the examiner to understand where one answer ends and where another answer begins. Give a lot of space between the two answers. If suppose your answer has ended just using one line on a page, then you can leave some space and then start another answer. But if there is no space, then leave the page altogether. Start your next answer from the other page, from the next page. Okay. Also, leave some space on the margin. That is the third point. Leave some space on the margin. That is why the margins are given for, so that we can give you marks over there. If you write on the entire paper, then we don't find where to give you the marks. Often when recounting the marks, that particular marks might be lost. So first, mark your answers properly. Second, do not start your answer right after you have written one answer. Third, uh, leave some margin so that the examiner can put some marks. Okay. And and when you are writing an answer, try to be try to stick to the question. You cannot write whatever you have learned, disregarding the entire meaning of the question. Here, the question is Rajmohan a total villain in the novel? Then, in some part of your answer, at least in each paragraph, you have to write as to why is he a villain? Who is a villain? What does he do to become a villain? But more often than not, I have found answers that have no connection with the question. The question is asking, uh, where was Sita born, and the answer talks about Trump is the president of United States. Though they might look similar to Iran, but not to us. So you have to stay on the path that what the question is. Read the question. The question paper is given like 5 minutes earlier usually. Read the question paper carefully. Then when you are ready to write the answers, try to keep the answers in touch with the question. Otherwise it's useless. No matter what you write, if you do not have any connection with the question, then you will not get marks for that. Okay. Understood everyone? Any doubts about, right? I mean, I could have taken a different class for this, but I wanted to tell you this right now. Write it down, stick it where you see it every day, and see it before you go to your exams. Okay. All right. Um, Also, another thing is your spellings. Check your spellings. I know autocorrect has destroyed your ability to write spellings on your own, but on paper there will be no autocorrect. So what you can do is you can memorize this answer, write it in your own home, see how much time it takes, because these answers are longer than 600 words, and I have not reduced the number of the words, because if you memorize 800 words, you are going to remember 500 words. If you are going to if you are going to memorize exactly 600 words, you are going to write 400 words. That happens with us also. Okay. So uh, memorize this answer, sit in your home, write this answer down from your memory, see how much time it takes, then maybe show it to me that whether the answer is correct or not. In that way, your spellings might get corrected, because if you keep writing wrong spellings, then marks are deducted for wrong vocabulary, poor vocabulary. Another thing that you need to see is whether your grammar is okay or not. That is why I am giving you the answers so that you memorize them, because these answers are mostly error free. Mostly, not entirely, but mostly. So if you can memorize these answers and vomit them on the answer scripts, still you will get good marks. So these are the things that I wanted to tell you before I go into the text. Anyway, so the question is Rajmohan a total villain in the novel? Yes, it seems that he's a total villain. He has no redeeming quality, no good quality that could make us defend Rajmohan in any way whatsoever. And that is why he comes across as an antagonist. Moreover, the novel is not very lengthy. It isn't even like, I guess, 200 pages. The novel is not lengthy, and hence Rajmohan does not get any shades in his character. He's just a villain. Uh, if there had been, if we could have had seen his childhood, if we could have had seen some good deeds done by him by mistake or deliberately, then we could have had said, then we could have had defended Rajmohan in some way or another. But it's not possible to defend Rajmohan, to say that no, he is not a villain. Anyway, so Rajmohan is a hateful character. Rajmohan does show courage when he is attacked by Shordar, and he fights them, and he also tries to tell as to who betrayed them. And but his ego, his jealousy of Madhav, his envy towards Madhav, sensing that Matangini has a soft corner for Madhav, only thing that the only reason as to why Rajmohan is mad at Madhav, because Madhav is doing better in life than him. This is a typical uh, feature of a Khalnayak, a Khal, a bad person. Okay, that a bad person will always be jealous, envious of what he himself cannot do. Anybody who does something good, that person becomes envious and starts spreading rumors and wrong information about that person. We have faced this in our school, college, in our job. We have been facing this for some time. So he also has sexual jealousy, and he's paranoid, and he is a total patriarch. He wants to keep Matongini all to himself. And even when Matongini is all his, he does not take care of Matongini. He treats Matongini like a disease, like a dirt. He always humiliates Matongini. By humiliating Matongini, he is actually trying to assert his power over Matongini, which power he does not really possess. Okay. Next, Tania, read the next paragraph.
Yes, sir. Yet Meenakshi Mukherjee finds him close to Othello. There is a touch of Heath- Heathcliff here and a touch of Chillingsworth from Scarlet Letter by Hawthorne. Is
Hawthorne.
it Hawthorne?
Hawthorne, yes.
Hawthorne. This aspect of Rajmohan's character adds a dimension to him that goes a long way to prove the ability of Chatterjee to create compelling characters on both sides of the scale. Further, the more Rajmohan appeared to be reprobate, the more Matangani appeared to us as a victim of her circumstances, and thus our empathy for her grew. One critic is of the view that Rajmohan treats Matangani as he does since he finds Matangani's love towards Madhav illicit.
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 Illicit means
Some.
not legal.
Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, yes.
Chatterjee gives in to the prevailing than her husband.
Mm-hmm. Prevailing.
Sorry. Chatterjee gives into the prevailing moral dictum that it was wrong for a woman to love any other man than her husband. This is, of course, blatant sexism when we
Blatant.
see the
Blatant
blatant.
means utter. Too much.
Okay. Blatant sexism when we see that Mathur having two wives is not censored, then why should Matangani be called into question?
Okay. So Meenakshi Mukherjee, who's a critic, she thinks that Rajmohan has some qualities, something, something of a Heathcliff. Heathcliff is a famous character in a novel called Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, known for his passion. Othello, a great warrior, but he was full of envy, he was full of jealousy. Chillingsworth is also another character from another novel, Scarlet Letter by Hawthorne, an American writer. So these characters have some similarities, or Rajmohan's wife, Rajmohan has some similarities with these characters. Maybe Bomkim has read all these characters because all of these characters had been written prior to Rajmohan's wife. Okay, so maybe he knows about these characters. Um, so Rajmohan's character shows that Bomkim can create great characters. This is one of the roles uh, of a of a character. Now, when we are writing about the role of a character, then the role of the character could also include the fact, could also include the symptom, to show that the novelist or the writer has a great capacity to create great characters. So the role is not just within the text, but it can be outside the text also. Okay. So actually, Rajmohan is made more of a villain in order to show the abject innocence of मातोंगिनी. मातोंगिनी को और ज़्यादा मासूम और ज़्यादा विक्टिम दिखाने के लिए राजमोहन को और ज़्यादा विलेनस बनाया गया है. एंड और एक क्रिटिक बोल रहा है कि राजमोहन ऐसा बर्ताव इसलिए कर रहा था मातोंगिनी के साथ क्योंकि उसको लग रहा था कि मातोंगिनी का माधव के साथ कोई चक्कर चल रहा है, कोई खराब संबंध है. बट and Chatterjee also believed that a woman, a married woman especially, should not be in love with two men. I mean, should not be in love with a man other than her husband. Whereas in the same novel, Mothur has two wives, and that's okay. And he then lusts after Matongini, who is married to someone else. तो मर्दों के लिए ठीक है अगर ज़्यादा वाइव्स होते हैं या ज़्यादा लोगों से प्यार होता है वगैरह कुछ भी, बट इट्स नॉट गुड फॉर women. But this is highlighted by Rajmohan's jealousy. This is highlighted by Rajmohan's behavior towards Matongini. लेकिन ये याद रखना पड़ेगा कि राजमोहन हमेशा से ही मातोंगिनी के साथ बुरा बर्ताव करता था. ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ कि मातोंगिनी के साथ राजमोहन ने अच्छा बर्ताव किया, चाहे वो माधव से प्यार करे या ना करे. ओके, नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ निर्जला पढ़ो.
His attitude towards Matangini could be the result of his having no kids with her. It seems that at least a year or more have passed since Rajmohan and Matangini had been married, but they do not have kids. Though the Victorian morality stopped Chatterjee to write explicitly about the sexual behavior of the couples, but the lack of domestic ties is an important aspect of the relationship between Rajmohan and Matangini.
Okay. So और भी एक तरीका है राजमोहन को डिफेंड करने का कि सब बोल रहे हैं कि राजमोहन उस तरीके से बर्ताव करता था मातंगिनी के साथ क्योंकि उनके बच्चे नहीं थे, तो बच्चे नहीं थे, who's who was responsible for that? ऐसा बहुत बार देखा गया है कि जो सेक्सुअली इम्पोर्टेंट लोग होते हैं, मर्द होते हैं, they are more cruel towards their wives. And because of the Victorian morality, we had talked about Victorian morality earlier. Chatterjee is not talking about sexual behavior कि उनमें सेक्सुअल रिलेशनशिप है या नहीं है, इट्स नॉट डिस्कस्ड. बट हो सकता है कुछ क्रिटिक्स ऐसा मान रहे हैं कि हो सकता है उनके बीच में वो वार्मथ नहीं है, वो रोमांस नहीं है, इसके वजह से राजमोहन इज डूइंग समथिंग लाइक दैट. हाउएवर वी हैव नेवर सीन राजमोहन गोइंग आफ्टर एनी अदर लेडी. I don't know. I had read the novel long ago, so I might be wrong. But as far as I remember, I don't remember Rajmohan lusting after any other women like Mothur. Mothur is a greater villain than Rajmohan in that sense. Okay. Next दो पैराग्राफ ही बच रहा है. अच्छा, बड़ा वाला पैराग्राफ अभिनव पढ़ो, उसके बाद दो पैराग्राफ तानिया पढ़ेगी.
He is physically abusive towards Matangini when he finds out that she had gone to fetch water from the river. He, however, does not execute his intention in the presence of his aunt. It was only a prelude to what was to come when he finds out that it was Matangini who told Madhav about his plan. Rajmohan would have had murdered Matangini if his accomplice would not have disturbed him. It's obvious that Rajmohan wanted to bring back Matangini only to kill her. Yet, instead of losing his cool over the matter, he tactfully tries to bring her back from Mathur's refuge. He was all but successful if Mathur had not imprisoned Matangini. He tact is also understood from the fact that instead of going away with the dacoit to lead a life of dakati, he decides to take his chances as a jamindar. Done.
So, there, I mean, we also will try to defend Rajmohan in some way or another. I mean, that will be a roundish answer. Roundish answer, what I mean by roundish answer is a better answer than what 90% of the people are going to write. तुम्हारे सारे आंसर्स फोर्थ सेमेस्टर ऑनवर्ड्स आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव होने चाहिए, और आर्ग्यूमेंट दोनों तरफ होना चाहिए कि हाँ, राजमोहन बिल्कुल भी गिरा हुआ इंसान है, विलन है, लेकिन क्या उसमें भी कुछ अच्छे क्वालिटीज़ हैं, जैसे ये आर्ग्यूमेंट करना, जैसे उसने अपनी बीवी को मार डालने का ही सोच लिया था कि वो मार ही डालेगा, उसको मार नहीं पाया क्योंकि उसके ही जो एकम्प्लिसेस थे, उसके ही जो चेले चपाटे थे, वो आकर उसको डिस्टर्ब कर दिए. लेकिन जब मातंगिनी चली गई, उसने अपना दिमाग ठंडा रखा. सो एटलीस्ट दिस विलन इज़ नॉट हॉट हेडेड, एंड दैट्स वाई इट मेक्स हिम अ ग्रेटर विलन. जो विलन का दिमाग गर्म होता है वो ज़्यादा कुछ कर नहीं पाता है. मतलब किसी इंसान का भी दिमाग अगर ज़्यादा गर्म हो जाए तो वो ज़्यादा कुछ कर नहीं पाता है, क्योंकि उसको दिमाग काम नहीं करता, सूझता नहीं है कि क्या करना चाहिए. लेकिन जो इंसान ठंडे दिमाग से किसी का नुकसान करने का सोचे या करे, क्योंकि जैसे राजमोहन वांटेड टू ब्रिंग मातंगिनी बैक सो दैट ही कैन किल हर, और कोई बात नहीं था, तो उसको भी हम लोग कह सकते हैं कि हाँ, ही वॉज वेरी काम हेडेड, ही वॉज वेरी ही वॉज अ काम काइंड ऑफ अ विलन. क्योंकि जितने भी विलन को हम यूजुअली देखते हैं, अभी के विलन्स अलग हैं, पहले के जो विलन्स हम देखते थे मूवीज़ वगैरह में, वो बहुत ही हॉट हेडेड होते थे. काम हेडेड विलन जो था वो हमको भी डरा देता था कि बाप रे, ये इतना ठंडा होकर कैसे बात कर सकता है. ओके, एंड वी हैव ऑफन सीन दिस फ्रेज कोल्ड ब्लडेड मर्डर्स. तो कोल्ड ब्लडेड मर्डर का क्या मतलब होता है कि ठंडे दिमाग से ये काम करना. ओके, सो इन दैट सेंस राजमोहन इज़ अ ग्रेटर विलन, मोर worse villain than Mothur is. Okay. Next, continue. तानिया करो, पढ़ लो एंड तक.
Okay, sir. We also do not see Rajmohan's physical features delineated. There is hardly any evidence that he was any worse in appearance than Madhav was. So we cannot be sure as to why Matangini chose Madhav over Rajmohan.
So,
Correct, Madhav?
yes, continue.
Okay. Rajmohan is not seen to be doing anything in particular towards the end and does not seem to carry out his development of character. He is shown to be apprehended for his crimes at the end. It appears to be a rather tame end to a potential villain who could have been remarkable for his obsession.
हाँ, तो एक प्रॉब्लम है जो मैं हर कैरेक्टर के बारे में बोलता हूँ कि किसी भी कैरेक्टर का जब तुम कैरेक्टर एनालिसिस करो, रोल एंड कैरेक्टर लिखो, तो डेफिनेटली उसको वो दिखने में कैसा है ये मैटर करता है. Because a person who looks like a villain might not be a villain, and a person who looks like a hero might not be a hero. तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे ये बोला जा रहा है कि why did Matongini choose Madhav over राजमोहन, क्योंकि अगर राजमोहन भी उतना ही हैंडसम है जितना माधव है, तो there was no reason for her to fall for Madhav. But the question is not whether he was good looking or not. The question is what kind of behavior did Rajmohan do? What kind of behavior did Rajmohan display towards Matongini? क्योंकि हमने पहले ये देखा है कि मातोंगिनी कम्स फ्रॉम अ पुअर फैमिली. तो मातोंगिनी अगर पुअर फैमिली से बिलोंग कर रही है तो इसका मतलब ये है कि तब के ज़माने में वो डाउरी सिस्टम वाज देयर. सो मे बी राजमोहन हेट्स or Rajmohan dislikes Matongini because Matongini did not bring much much money or dowry to the household. That could also be another reason. So, but ultimately what we find is that just like Matongini was simply removed from the scene, Rajmohan it was informed to the readers that Rajmohan has been apprehended, has been caught, arrested by the police because of his activities, and a potential villain, a great villain, met a lame end. Lame means बहुत ही फुस्सी जैसा हुआ अल्टीमेटली. ठीक है, तो this is the thing about Rajmohan as a total villain. So we can find that Rajmohan can be considered as a total villain. Okay. All right, that brings us to the end of the discussions of question answers. Short questions, I don't think we need to discuss much, because read them. If you find that there is any difficulty in understanding the language, a paragraph, a word, then you can ask me in the next class or in WhatsApp also, or you can call me. But read the short questions. If you do not have the short questions from all the texts, tell me. I think Tintin in Tibet से तुम लोगों को अभी तक short questions मैंने नहीं दिए हैं, right?